Hey everybody, this is Adrian Wright, the lead developer on Dark Horizons Mechanized Corps, both the tabletop game and the video game. Now, as many of you know, this game has stopped development back in 2019, but we are trying to revive it. Myself, Tim Newell, who's the lead programmer, and a couple of other people who I'll mention when they're comfortable with that. We are currently working on getting a playable build back out to the Steam owners. This is being built in the latest version of the Unity game engine. And I just wanted to walk you through where we're at, where I think we're going to be in the next month, and so on. So first, you know, we have multiplayer working. We have our mech customization working. You can look at your pilot profile. This still has legacy achievements that I earned when we first released the game. We'll be adding back in the ability to build a squad statistics, etc. This is where we're at now. So let me go in the mech hangar and show you how to build mech. So I'm going to go ahead and sell off this mech, and yeah, I'm just going to sell that one because I'm going to rebuild it for you. My favorite one. So we go over here to build mech, and a couple things to show you. On the bottom left is your current uh, modifications and how much it costs. So if you look at this, right now it's just the chassis. So it'll tell me the cost of the chassis, the max speed of the chassis, the total armor, current battle point value, and the max battle point value. So when you're building this, everything has battle points. And if you see the max battle points, you won't be able to build the mech. And that's really from a balancing standpoint. We don't want this all ultimate build mechs. Um, so battle point values, kind of think of it as tonnage. You can only put so much on these chassis. So let's select a chassis. So we have 12. We have our scout class, which is our fast, nimble mechs, which can really run circles around most of the other classes. So the Dire Hawk, this is the fastest by far, and you have the Citadel. In the infantry class, you have the Viper, and this class is pretty tough. You can carry more weapons than the Scout class, but they're nowhere near as fast once they're loaded up. They look like they are just by the default chassis, but when you start loading them up, the speed really drops. So you have the Scarab. And my favorite in this class, which used to be the Viper, is now the Prowler. I just like the looks of it. Then you have the heavy class. I know it says Assault. I got to fix the UI. So you have the Malice, which is the OG. You have the Sura, and you have the Mauler. This class is the most versatile of all. It's not uber slow, but it can pretty much carry every weapon system. Even the assault cannot carry all of them because it doesn't carry the undermount weapons in some of the smaller ones. Uh, it just the assault class, which is what we're going to build, is really built to carry the big heavy weapons. So we go to the assault class. So we have the Abolisher, which is the Josie assault mech. You have the Kronos, and you have the Typhoon, which is our biggest mech by far. It is the tallest, it is the heaviest, has the most armor. Um, pretty pretty formidable. But I'm going to build the Abolisher as a place in my heart. It was one of the original mechs that we had back from Aftermath, which was on InstantAction.com and was obviously one of the first four in Dark Horizons Mechanized Corps. So let's move on to the weapons. So I want this to be a very formidable mech. So we're going to put on some weapons that are good for close range. So I'm going to put in a K-20 Drata. These are dumbfire missiles. So unless you're really good at shooting ahead of other mechs, this is really something that's medium to close range. Don't get too close. They do have splash damage, so you don't want to damage yourself. And then to round out our in close, let's put in some quad juggernauts, Gatling guns. They're high cycle machine guns. So I've got those three weapons on. So let's now start with a little longer range. So I'm going to have a nice missile. I usually would put a Viper Heat Seeker on. It's a little higher value in battle points because it's a Heat Seeker. So I'm going to go with the Guardian line of sight. And what the line of sight means is, in order to keep the target, it has to stay in your vision. With the Viper, once it's locked on, it'll go. It can be deterred by countermeasures, but for the most part, it's going to hone in right to the mech. So now I'm going to put my lasers. These are my main weapons that I'm going to use. I'm going to mount a fusion cannon and a brimstone, which are both lasers. The fusion cannon is going to provide damage on hit, but also damage over time. The brimstone is only while you're hitting. Both of these produce quite a bit of heat, so we're going to change our engine. And this is going to be a little bit different than what I've done in this build in the past. In the past, I don't use the stock engine, which is kind of balanced, right? You want an engine that has a high heat capacity and a high drain rate. So I've been going with the RR300 because it has a little bit more capacity, a little bit more heat drain. But I'm finding that I'm overheating quite a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the Magnum XL. It's more expensive, right? So now my build is going to be a little more limited. I'm not going to be able to do a jump jet and a countermeasure because I'll just be over on points and it won't work. So I'm going to go ahead and go with countermeasures because this is a slow mech and I need to be able to fend off heat-seeking missiles and rockets. I'd love to add in a jump jet. Well, actually, I can. All right, so forget what I said. Let's go with the Magnum XL. Not sure how that worked out. Let me check my weapons. I want to make sure that I put the right things in there. No brimstone. Oh, this is where I messed up. I accidentally put the flat cannon on instead of the fusion. So now you can see I'm over my battle point value. So I do need to remove the jump jet, which is too bad, but it's removed. And the plus side is I'm going to have a nice balance on the heat. Should not overheat as much as I was. So that's good. It'll work out. A little customization. I like to spruce my stuff up a little bit. I'm going to put some teeth on the front. And then I'm going to add my unit logo, which I always like to have the skull. I'm going to leave the paint scheme the same, but as you can see, we have a few different ones. Really depends on preference, but I kind of like the base scheme. I also like the Eastern Confederation colors, so I'm going to go with a red, and I'm going to actually do a custom black highlight. Not sure why that didn't work. Looks like I have a bug, so we'll go with dark gray for now. Yeah, I like that. And if I really wanted to celebrate the Eastern Confederation, I'd go with that logo, but I like the skull, so we're going to go with that. Not going to up the grunge level. I mean, it basically just makes the neck look worn down and dirty. I like to have a relatively clean look. We're going to go in and configure our fire groups. And if I had the battle points, I would add some armor, but I don't have enough right now. So let's reset these groups. I want the brimstone and the fusion cannon in one group, and then I want the Drada in its own group, and then the quads grouped together, and then the Guardian will be on a group by itself as well. Then group 5 fires everything. Now, the danger of firing everything is that it's likely you'll overheat, at least on your second shot, especially on a build like this. And if you have a lot of lasers, you're really going to overheat fast. So you got to be careful of that. It's okay against bots, but when you play against real people, if you overheat, you might as well sign your death warrant. So the only other thing you have in here is you do have an inventory of weapons that you've collected over time. Some of it will be salvaged, but most of the time it's when you sell off a mech and you only sell the chassis and you don't sell everything. The nice thing here is you just have them available. Now you can sell them if you need the credits, but I don't, so leave those the way it is. So we're going to do a build here, and I'm going to name it ABL for the Abolisher, and then BFG, and you guys can sort out what that means. So you can take this into the test range to test out the different weapons and the different groupings and see how it feels for you. I'm pretty familiar with this build, so I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to select it. So what selecting does is it makes it my default mech. So if I go into a mission and I don't select any other mech, it'll be the mech of choice. So let's go in and fight some AI. So I'm going to host a new game. We're going to stick with Team Deathmatch, as that's the only mode that really works right now. We'll go into our Alpine environment. We will go ahead and set the max respawns to 0. So when you die, you die. It'll make the match relatively fast. So I don't need to put a time limit on it. And we'll do a little 3x3. So I'll add 5 bots. So I'll have 2 AI bots on my side, and there'll be 3 on the other. Now, before I launch in, or if I was, joining this game, you can change your mech. I mean, I have what I just built, but I can flip through. These are the default mechs, and then I have a couple custom ones I made already. But we'll stick with the Abolisher because I like it. It's big and chunky. So once you're ready, you can hit launch, and it'll launch us into the game. Now, right now, it takes a minute to launch. It's a development build. It's building all the lighting and stuff right now. When we ship it, it should not take as long to load the missions. So here we go. I'm going to let the guys go up ahead, see which way they're going to go. Looks like they're going to go up top. Oh, he changed his mind. Let's see where we're going. Yeah, I'm going to follow these guys. I don't want to be by myself. I feel like the other side is probably going to go up top, but we'll run into each other. So this is our Alpine map. It's actually a really large map. We're going to see about maybe a quarter or a third of it. Oh, well, it looks like there's some action going on. I'm a little slow, so those guys got there much faster than me. Let's see if I can go ahead and target this guy. Okay. So you can see we got a 3D hologram showing the damage for the target. And and looks like the guys up top are coming down, so we should get some nice action going on. So I do have my lasers along there. Oh, I did some damage. That's nice. We're within 500 meters, so I'm going to switch to my Guardian. Get in a nice couple of shots here. Oh. Well, I wanted that kill. Let's switch back to my Brimstone. Where are these guys? Okay. We're gonna have to go over and meet them. So we are the attackers on this mission. So they actually have a base over here. Eventually, when we have objectives in, there'll be things like destroy the generator or the communications radar dish. But right now, pure team deathmatch. Should not be able to target through the mountain, but we'll fix that. I'm actually going to switch back over to the Guardian. I can't see him, so it's hard to fire the others. Oh, my own guy. That's not good. Well, there we go. These guys are in small mechs. They're kind of squishy. Alright, let's go get this other guy. You guys coming with me? No? Okay. One thing that we'll add for single player and co-op is the ability to command the AI to go where you want them to go. So I should be able to tell these guys to follow me. Again, I've got a really slow configuration here. This is the slowest mech in the game right now. So the plus side about the smaller mechs is you can really zip around. Alright, this guy's just sitting up here. I guess he's lonely, I guess? I don't know. We got a nice hit on him. Let's switch to Dorado. And now my quad, get up and close with him. Well, I guess he just wants to die. In that case, I'm going to go ahead and do an alpha strike. Alright, and we won. So that's where we're at. We will continue development. We're hoping in the next month to be able to release this to people who already own it on Steam. We won't be back for sale yet, but we want anyone who had paid for it to be able to access it, play it, give us feedback. It's a small team now. It's really two of us that are working on the majority of it, with people pitching in on creating new art, testing, helping with balancing. The plus side is we're doing a tabletop game at the same time, so a lot of the balancing is going both ways, and that gives us an extra person who's writing the rules for the tabletop to help me really balance this stuff out. So I appreciate your time, and you guys all take care.